This is a story about how I got pregnant with my surprise baby after trying to conceive for over a year. Back in 2020 is when I'd started trying to conceive with my partner at the time. I ended up trying to conceive for over a year. I was taking my temperature, I was taking ovulation tests, I was watching what I was eating, trying to lose weight to like conceive, hopefully. It was this whole like monthly journey, like super, anyone that's tried to conceive before and it's never happened obviously knows how hard it is. Like every month I was getting negative tests, and I would always update my gran on how I was getting on, and she would like where I was in the journey of that month. And she'd be like super supportive, and she was so excited. She really wanted me to have a baby. She was very supportive. She was very like, she'd get super upset if I had a negative test, which obviously every month I did have a negative test. And she just really wanted me to have a baby because she knew how much I wanted it as well. Fast forward to 2021, me and that guy ended up splitting up because it was a very toxic relationship. It was not a healthy relationship at all. So thankfully it ended. And I kind of just accepted that I wasn't going to have a baby anytime soon. And maybe I would try again. If I hadn't met anyone by the time I was 30, I'd probably maybe try and do it myself or something like that. I just wasn't like too stressed about it. And I kind of moved forward onto this sort of weight loss journey. So I moved forward onto this weight loss journey and ended up documenting that on TikTok. I ended up losing over 50 pounds of weight and was like the fittest I've ever been, the healthiest I've ever been. I was running a lot, and I'd never been a runner before. I was in the gym, everything. My gran was super excited for me when I was on my weight loss journey. Every time I'd lose even a pound, she'd be so happy for me. She was just like super supportive, and just every week she'd want to know how I'd got on. At the end of 2021, I got labyrinthitis, so I got sick with dizzy spells, vertigo, felt super nauseous, and I was getting headaches. That labyrinthitis never went away, and it just got worse. So it turned out, it took a few months to diagnose. I tried several different medications. I had to see a neurologist. I got MRI scans, and it turns out I have vestibular migraines, which is basically migraines that attack the inner ear. So all the same symptoms. I was getting super dizzy and all that kind of stuff. So I got put on some pretty heavy medication in January 2022 to try and like help all those symptoms. It was basically seizure medication. And I was told in quite a large conversation, do not get pregnant on this medication. It will harm your baby if you get pregnant while you're on this medication. Basically your baby will have some sort of deformity. So like really don't get pregnant on this medication. And in January 2021 also, my gran got sick and got diagnosed with cancer, and she ended up passing away in March. So January to March I literally spent like so much time with my gran, because obviously I knew she was super sick and I was trying to help her out, give her like some of her medications, and it was just sort of me, my mum and my gran, like sort of in this little like bubble, I guess. So my gran ended up passing away in March of 2022, and that month I ended up going on a bit of a binge drinking coping mechanism, I guess you could say. And obviously I've just been on this massive health journey. I had just gotten sick and now I'm pretty heavy medication, so I wasn't a big drinker. And the entirety of March I pretty much drank like every weekend, sometimes during the week, with anybody who wanted to go out. So the weekend of the funeral, I was working the Friday night and the funeral was going to be on the Monday. Some family had started to arrive, and including my brother. My brother had gone out drinking with my mum on the Friday night, and obviously I was at work. I then get a text message. I was working till like 10 p.m. I get a text message from my brother saying, you need to come out drinking with me because mum's going home. And I was like, listen, I need to go home and let the dogs out. I need to get changed. I wouldn't be able to come out till like 11 o'clock by the time I got home from work. He was like, yeah, absolutely fine. Come join me. And I was like, do you know what? Let's just like, absolutely fine. Okay, let's go. So literally rushed home, took the dogs out, and ended up going out drinking that night. So that night I got very drunk very quickly because obviously I had to catch up with my brother. And I ended up having a one night stand with somebody. I wasn't on any birth control. So the next day, literally the morning after, I went to the pharmacy and got the morning after pill and took it. I was in that pharmacy for about 2.5 hours because they had to check it was like the right morning after pill or something like that, that could go with the medication that I was on. And he said, the issue with you taking this pill is that it'll make your medication less effective. They never told me that if you've already ovulated, the morning after pill does nothing. I found that out afterwards. And clearly the morning after pill didn't work. So the weekend I actually found out I was pregnant. I went away on a long weekend away. So I was away the Thursday through Sunday, and I was drinking with friends. There was 18 of us. We went up north and we just rented this like big Airbnb sort of thing. But funny enough, the whole weekend, every time I drank, I felt super sick. So I didn't drink that much because I was feeling really sick. But I thought it was the medication I was on, because that wasn't unlike that medication to make me feel nauseous. I also ended up taking a nap. I think it was on the Saturday afternoon. I took like an 1.5 hour long nap before dinner because I was so exhausted, which I thought was a mix of the medication. Maybe I'm not too old to be drinking this much, this many days in a row. So I just kind of wrote it off. So on this weekend away, my period was a week late. The pharmacist had told me that my period might be late because basically the morning after pill can mess up your cycle. So I wasn't too worried about it. And also I'd started cramping, so I thought my period was coming. So obviously it didn't come. But by the Saturday, it was like a Friday or Saturday night, one of my friends goes, "Oh, you've taken a test though, just to make sure." And I was like, yeah, which I hadn't. I was just like, oh, my period's probably coming because I started cramping. So on the Sunday when I got home, before I took a nap, I thought, do you know what? I've got a test in the house left over from when I was trying to conceive. So I'll just take one, just as a wee peace of mind, and then I'll go for a nice lovely nap and recover from the weekend away. I've never seen a test show up so positive so fast because I was 6 weeks pregnant. Yeah, to say I was shocked was to say the least. So once the test came back positive, I started laughing. I literally laughed for about 2 months of my pregnancy, I think, if not more. Maybe half my pregnancy. I was just laughing because I was in shock the whole time. I think even going to the hospital to give birth, I was laughing because I thought it was just hilarious how this has all happened and what the heck. I decided to text my mum and I said, I need to talk to you. Can you come up to my house? And she phoned me straight away. I was like, what's up? Can you just tell me over the phone? And I was like, no, you need to come up. I need to speak to you. It's a face-to-face conversation. So when she came up, I just gave her the pregnancy test and she fell to her knees in absolute shock, but also very emotional upset. And obviously my gran had just passed away a few weeks prior, so it was super emotional because I was so open with my mum and my gran about my trying to conceive journey. They knew it took over a year. I got super stressed about it all. And then my gran was so ready for me to have a baby, and then she passed away. And less than a week after she passed away, I conceived a baby. So the whole situation is just crazy because not only was this the first person I'd slept with in about 8 months, I took the morning after pill. I was also on medication that would deform a baby, and clearly my baby is not deformed, even though he looks like a piranha right now. And my gran wanted me to have a baby so badly, and she passed away a few weeks prior. So the way things happened, it just turned out that he was a little surprise miracle baby, I guess. And definitely there was no doubt about it, he was meant to be. I just think the circumstance and how I got pregnant is just crazy. And now here we are. He's 3 months old and I'm a single mum. But that's okay because you were clearly meant to be. And that is the story as to how I got pregnant. Let me know if there's anything else you want to know or any questions you have, and I'll answer them down below. Say bye. Say bye. Are you looking at yourself in the mirror?